I never thought I'd be the guy typing something like this out, but here I am. My name's Mark, and I've been married to Lisa for just over 7 years. On paper, we looked like one of those solid couples, steady jobs, a decent house in the suburbs, a dog we spoil way too much, and the kind of Instagram posts that made people roll their eyes. But honestly, looking back, I should have noticed the cracks sooner. Lisa has always had a sharp tongue, funny to others, cutting to me when she wanted to. I brushed it off as her sense of humor, but deep down it stung. Over the past year, things shifted. She started going out more with her co-workers, suddenly working late even though she used to be the first one in pajamas by 8 p.m., and she got very protective of her phone. At first, I convinced myself I was paranoid. She'd snap at me if I asked about her day, saying I was interrogating her. If I pointed out how often she was glued to her phone, she'd accuse me of being controlling. And like an idiot, I'd back off. I wanted to believe the marriage was fine, but something was off. I could feel it. The co-worker hangouts started to feel less like casual after-work drinks and more like a lifestyle. At least twice a week, Lisa would get dressed up, way more than I'd ever seen her do for the office, and head out saying it was a team bonding thing. I'd ask who was going, and she'd roll her eyes. "Mark, you don't know them. Why does it matter?" She'd grab her purse and slam the door before I could say anything else. When she got home, she'd smell like a mix of perfume and whiskey, and half the time she'd pick a fight with me about the dumbest things, like me leaving a glass on the counter or forgetting to take the trash out. The intimacy dropped too. It went from us cuddling on the couch, messing around, actually laughing together, to her scrolling on her phone at the far end of the couch while I sat in silence. Anytime I tried to initiate something, she'd sigh and say, "Not tonight, I'm exhausted." At first, I thought maybe she was just stressed from work. But then she started guarding her phone like it was nuclear launch codes. If it buzzed, she'd flip it face down immediately. If I walked into the room while she was texting, she'd angle it away from me like a teenager hiding messages from her parents. That's when the pit in my stomach started. Something wasn't just off. Something was really wrong. The moment that really cracked everything open happened on a random Thursday night. Lisa had told me she was going out with the girls from accounting. No big deal, right? Except, I happen to know she doesn't have any female co-workers in accounting. Her office is mostly dudes. That night, she left in a black dress I'd never seen before, short enough that she tugged at it every few steps. I remember thinking, since when does Lisa dress like she's going to a club for an office happy hour? I tried not to stew over it, but around 10 p.m. my phone buzzed. It was a text meant for someone else. She'd accidentally sent it to me. All it said was, "Can't wait to see you again. Tonight was worth the risk, red heart." My heart dropped. I stared at the screen for a full minute, convinced I was hallucinating. Then, 2 minutes later, another message came in. "Ignore that, babe. Wrong person, LOL." Was texting Jenny about her dating drama. Jenny? Lisa's supposed best friend, who got married last year and lives 3 states away. It was the sloppiest lie I'd ever seen. And that was the first time the possibility shifted in my head from paranoia to she's actually cheating on me. After that text slip-up, I couldn't ignore the signs anymore. My gut screamed at me every time she left the house. So I started paying attention in ways I never had before. The first thing I noticed was her mileage. Lisa drives this silver Honda Civic, nothing fancy, but I check the odometer sometimes when I take it for an oil change. That week, I saw she'd racked up way more miles than her commute would explain. I asked her about it casually, and she snapped. "What, are you my dad now, checking my car like I'm a teenager sneaking out?" Then there was the credit card bill. Lisa's always been a bit careless with money, but suddenly there were charges for restaurants in parts of town nowhere near her office. Once, I saw a charge at a hotel bar. When I asked, she brushed it off. "Oh, we had a work meeting there." Who the hell has a work meeting at a hotel bar at 11:30 p.m. on a Wednesday? The final straw came when I borrowed her laptop because mine was updating. I wasn't even snooping, just trying to check my email. Chrome opened with her Facebook still logged in, and right there in her messages was a chat with someone saved as Aaron Work. Except the stuff they were saying wasn't work-related at all. It was explicit. Things I don't even want to repeat. My hands shook as I read those messages. It was undeniable. Proof. She wasn't just lying. She was living a whole double life. I didn't plan it out. I didn't rehearse in my head. I just snapped. That night, when she came home smelling like cheap cologne and vodka cranberries, I sat at the kitchen table with her laptop open to the messages. She froze when she saw the screen. "Why are you on my laptop?" she demanded, like that was the problem. "Who the hell is Aaron?" I asked. My voice cracked in the middle, half from rage, half from heartbreak. Her face went pale for a second, then twisted into this smug, defensive mask. "He's just a coworker. We joke around. You're blowing things out of proportion." I shoved the laptop toward her. "Joking around? You're talking about sneaking him into hotels and how I'll never find out. That's not a joke, Lisa. That's you cheating on me." She crossed her arms and leaned against the counter, like she was bored. "Wow, snooping through my private messages? That's real mature, Mark." I couldn't believe it. She got caught red-handed and somehow made me the villain. My chest felt tight, like I couldn't breathe. I was shaking, waiting for her to admit it, apologize something. But instead, she just stood there, rolling her eyes, muttering, "This is exactly why I don't tell you anything. You're paranoid." It was the first time I realized she wasn't going to give me the truth willingly. The second I pressed harder, the excuses started pouring out of her like she'd rehearsed them. First it was, "He's just a friend, you're overreacting." When I pointed out the hotel bar charges, she shot back, "It was a group thing, Mark. You always assume the worst." When I asked about the late nights, she scoffed. "Unlike you, some of us actually have demanding jobs." Every single lie stacked on top of the last, flimsy and see-through, but delivered with such venom that I almost questioned myself. It's wild how someone you love can twist reality until you're doubting what's right in front of your face. I brought up the accidental text, and she smirked. "Seriously? You're still hung up on that? I already told you it was for Jenny." She actually laughed like I was pathetic for even mentioning it. That laugh lit something inside me, anger, humiliation, this deep sense of betrayal that made my stomach churn. Instead of begging for forgiveness, she treated me like I was the idiot in the room. That was when I knew the marriage wasn't just cracked. It was shattering. I wish I could say I kept my cool, but I didn't. The dam broke. All the nights I sat home alone while she was working late. All the times she cut me down with her sharp little digs. All the gaslighting. It came pouring out of me in one ugly, messy flood. I raised my voice, something I almost never do, and shouted, "Stop lying to me, Lisa. I'm not stupid. I have the texts, the receipts, the mileage, everything. You've been cheating, and instead of owning it, you're standing here treating me like I'm crazy." She didn't cry. She didn't apologize. She didn't even look ashamed. She just sneered and muttered, "Wow, so this is what it takes to get you passionate about something. Maybe if you'd fought this hard for me before, I wouldn't have looked elsewhere." That line, that single poisonous line, it was like she'd driven a knife straight into my chest and twisted it. I slammed my fist against the kitchen table, so hard the dog bolted upstairs. My voice cracked as I shouted back, "Don't you dare put this on me. You made a choice. You betrayed me." For the first time, her mask slipped. She looked rattled, maybe realizing I wasn't going to let her spin this around anymore. But by then, the damage to me was already done. After that explosion, the house went eerily quiet. She didn't storm out, didn't scream back, just crossed her arms and sat at the far end of the couch, glaring at me like I had ruined her night. I sat at the table, chest heaving, hands trembling. My throat was raw from yelling, but now I couldn't get a single word out. All I could hear was the blood rushing in my ears and the tick of the kitchen clock. Every so often, Lisa would let out this dramatic sigh, like she was the one dealing with me. No apology, no explanation, just silence. I wanted her to say something, anything that showed she cared. Even anger would have been better than the smug, stone-faced contempt she was giving me. It felt like I was screaming into a void, like our marriage had already flatlined, and I was the only one trying to resuscitate it. At one point, I asked quietly, "Do you even love me anymore?" She didn't answer. She just looked at her phone and muttered, "You're being pathetic." That was the moment something inside me cracked. The silence between us wasn't just awkward, it was deadly. The next morning was brutal. I barely slept, lying awake replaying every word of the fight, every smug look on her face. Meanwhile, Lisa? She slept like a baby, snoring softly while I stared at the ceiling. When she finally rolled out of bed, she acted like nothing happened. She made herself coffee, humming along to the radio, scrolling through her phone. I sat there at the kitchen table, still wrecked from the night before, and she didn't even look at me. I tried to start the conversation again. "Lisa, we can't just pretend last night didn't happen." She sighed dramatically, like a teenager. Mark, I already told you. You're being paranoid. If you want to keep obsessing, that's on you. I'm not doing this again. And just like that, she grabbed her purse and walked out the door, leaving me in the wreckage of what used to be our marriage. That day at work, I could barely focus. My coworkers asked if I was okay. I wasn't. I felt hollow, like someone had scooped out my insides. By lunchtime, I wasn't angry anymore. I was just numb. It hit me then. She didn't care if I knew. She wasn't even scared of losing me. She expected me to just take it. 2 days later, I hit the wall. I couldn't eat, couldn't think, couldn't even look at Lisa without feeling like I was going to throw up. She was glued to her phone as usual, whispering and giggling into it in the hallway like a teenager sneaking calls past curfew. That night, I finally said, "Lisa, if you don't tell me the truth right now, I'm done." My voice wasn't angry. It was flat, exhausted. She barely looked up. Done with what? With this. With us. That got her attention. She rolled her eyes, but there was a flicker of panic. "Oh, please, Mark. You're not actually going to leave me. You can't even make decisions without me." That line snapped something inside me. For so long, I'd let her dictate the terms of our marriage, bending myself into knots to keep the peace. But now, I felt a strange calm settle over me. I stood up, grabbed my keys, and said, "Watch me." She followed me to the door, spitting venom the whole way, calling me dramatic, pathetic, weak. But for the first time, her words didn't sink in. They just bounced off. I knew then. I was done begging for honesty. Done waiting for her to care. The next morning, I didn't go to work. Instead, I grabbed a couple of trash bags and started throwing my clothes into them. It wasn't organized or neat. I just needed to move. Lisa stumbled into the room mid-pack, hair messy, still in her pajamas. "What the hell are you doing?" she snapped. "I'm leaving," I said without looking at her. My voice was steady, which surprised me. She laughed, actually laughed. "Oh, come on, Mark. Where are you gonna go? To your mom's? You can't just walk out because you're mad at me." "I'm not mad," I said. "I'm done." That wiped the smirk off her face. She started scrambling for excuses again. It was nothing serious. Just flirting. "You're really going to throw away our whole marriage over a few messages." But I didn't stop packing. Every shirt and pair of jeans I shoved into the bag felt like one less chain holding me there. She tried to block the doorway at one point, arms spread like she could physically trap me in that house. "You'll regret this, Mark. No one else is going to put up with you." I brushed past her. For the first time in months, I felt lighter. I crashed on my friend Daniel's couch that first night. He didn't even ask for details, just shoved a blanket at me and said, "Stay as long as you need." That small kindness nearly broke me. Meanwhile, Lisa blew up my phone. First it was angry texts, "You're pathetic. Grow up." Then came the guilt trips. "After everything we've been through, you're just going to walk out?" Then the bargaining, "We can fix this. I'll stop seeing him. Just come home." I didn't respond. For the first time, I had control. Word spread quickly. Small-town gossip travels fast. Mutual friends started reaching out. Some said they'd seen Lisa out with a tall guy in bars around town, laughing a little too close. Others said she'd been bragging at work about how Mark will never leave me. He needs me too much. Hearing that hurt worse than the affair itself. She didn't just cheat, she mocked me for staying. Sitting there on Daniel's couch, surrounded by my trash bag luggage, I realized the fallout wasn't just losing my wife. It was realizing I'd been the butt of her private joke for months. The first week away was hell. I kept reaching for my phone, half expecting an apology that never came. The silence in Daniel's spare room was crushing. But slowly, I started to feel something I hadn't felt in months: clarity. I went to the gym again. I cooked my own meals instead of waiting for Lisa's takeout leftovers. I even started sleeping through the night. Each small step reminded me that I wasn't as helpless as she'd made me believe. Lisa didn't give up, though. She tried everything: angry voicemails, fake tears over text, even sending selfies like nothing had changed. One night she called drunk, slurring, "You'll come back. You always come back." I hung up without saying a word. That was the turning point. For the first time, I didn't feel tempted. I felt disgusted. Her voice, once the center of my world, now sounded hollow. The more distance I put between us, the more I saw her for what she really was: manipulative, selfish, and cruel. And the more I saw me for what I'd been all along: someone who deserved better. After a month of separation, I met with a lawyer. Just walking into that office felt surreal. like I was watching someone else's life unravel. But when I signed the paperwork to start divorce proceedings, a strange peace settled over me. Lisa went ballistic when she got served. She showed up at Daniel's house, pounding on the door, screaming that I was throwing everything away over a fling. She swore it was just emotional, not physical, then flipped the script and called me insecure for not being able to handle her friendships. I didn't even open the door. I just sat on the couch, listening to her voice fade into the night. For once, I didn't feel the urge to run out and calm her down. I let her tantrum bounce off the walls and dissolve into silence. My decision was final. I wasn't going back. I wasn't going to let her lies, her cruelty, or her betrayal define me anymore. For the first time in years, I felt like I was steering my own life. It's been 6 months since I walked out, and the divorce is almost finalized. Looking back, I can't believe how long I let myself be gaslit and strung along. Lisa wasn't just cheating. She was breaking me down piece by piece, making me question my own reality. I won't lie, it still hurts. The betrayal cuts deep, and sometimes I catch myself wondering if I missed warning signs years ago. But here's the truth I've learned. It's not my job to fix someone who doesn't respect me. Love doesn't survive lies, and trust doesn't come back once it's shattered. To anyone reading this who feels that pit in their stomach, the one that whispers something's wrong, don't ignore it. Don't let someone twist your love into weakness. You deserve honesty. You deserve respect. And if they can't give it, you're stronger walking away than staying chained to their betrayal. I lost my wife, but I found myself again. And that's a trade I'd make any day.